Okay, so hi everyone, good evening. How are you all? Welcome everyone to this live stream. How are you all doing? Okay, so hi everyone, welcome. Into this live stream, we have a few questions. Okay, I guess you might have checked in from the thumbnail itself, right? That we'll be solving out the questions that are means the type of questions exactly which are asked in the top MNC coding rounds, right? Or your MANG coding rounds. So we'll be solving out those types of questions today into this live stream. So once you all are here, just drop me a hi so that I get to know you all are here and we'll be starting up very soon. Hi Kim Jong, how are you doing? Hi Mohit, how are you doing? So we'll just wait for a minute or two for everyone to join and we'll be starting here with those questions, right? By the time, if you haven't got your IDEs ready till now, so just request you please make your IDEs ready so that we'll be starting to code and write up the solutions for all the questions which we'll be learning up today, right? And similarly with that, even I would just try to get you a few concepts also, okay, so that you are very clear with all those things, that which concept is being used in what kind of question, right? So that if similar type of a question also comes, you'll be able to solve that very clearly, okay? So this is what we'll be doing up into this live stream. Hi Smart, how are you? Hi everyone. Okay, let's start this up very quickly here. So what I'll do first of all, we'll be starting out with the questions for this. Okay. So okay, starting with the first question, we are having it over here that you are given an integer array. Okay, ARR of length, and first of all, I'll just tell you that you have to read the whole question. Okay, the problem statement, the example, the input, output, explanations, everything, right? And then we'll just try to write the solution of this complete question. Okay, that is how we'll be proceeding up with all this stuff. So starting with the very first question, so I'll just tell you previously that from where I have picked up these questions. So whatever are the previous I would say the interviews, the questions that have been taken from different websites, okay, that have already been asked. So we are just trying to take those questions, okay, combine them and start with all the things which we are having up over here, right? That is the whole idea regarding this particular thing. So the thing is that you are having an integer array of length n, okay, and that is helping you to represent a permutation of the integers in the range 0 comma n minus 1. So what I'll do, we'll just start on highlighting up the things also which are important for this respective question, okay. So we are having that a permutation of the integers in the range 0 comma n minus 1, okay. So maybe we can just highlight up the important portions of this whole question so that it just makes us like pretty simple to solve out all of those. Okay, that's the part. Moving next, we split ARR into some number of chunks. Okay, and individually we'll be sorting each of those chunks afterwards. Okay. After that, what we have to do, we just have to concatenate them, means we have to just add them, and the final result should be equal to a sorted array. Now, if you just read out this question, so you can very clearly understand that this question is all about the arrays, right? The very first thing is a topic which has been used in is arrays. Now, second thing, when you read about this question, so we know there is a in the DSA we have something which is known as your maths also, right? There is a maths module and the library which helps us to work onto that. So we usually into that we have this permutation thing, okay. Now with that permutation of the integers, that is a range which we are given up over here. What I will do with this similarly, we'll just try to write down the important things that we are having up into this complete question. So my range I am just giving up, which is 0 comma n minus 1. That is my range of this question, right? Now moving next towards my question, we just have to split up this array into a few partitions. Okay, means maybe whenever we'll apply the logic for the same, we'll be dividing that array. Okay, now afterwards what you have to do, you just have to concatenate them, means to add them out, right? And the result should be equal to the sorted array. So it's all about that this question has been asked for us to sort out the array, right? I hope everyone is clear with this, that the question is asked to be sorted. Mohit, I guess the screen is visible and zoomed now, right? Hopefully that works. Right, so now as a result what we have to do, we'll be returning up the largest number of chunks and we can make the array sorted. Fine, first of all, this is what my question is saying. Hopefully the question is clear. If clear, just please let me know. Just drop me a yes in the chat so that I get to know the question is clear, so we can proceed in with further stuff. Okay, now next is that in the example we are having an input. Okay, the input is that we have to take an array is equal to 43210. Okay, now the further output should be 1. Okay, now my question was that we have to split the particular array into the chunks, right? Means we have to make the partitions of those, and once we are concatenated with them, the final result should be equal to the sorted array, right? I hope I'm pretty clear with that. Now here the input which we are given, that is this particular sorted array 43210, rather it is in the descending order, but my array is sorted. Now when I check about the explanation of this question, it is saying that you have to split 2 or more chunks which will return the required result. Pretty clear that I'll be splitting my array into 2 or more chunks, and that will help me to get the final result. Okay, now example, I would be splitting it into 2 different parts. Now see, mentioned up over here, 4 comma 3 is one of my string and 2 comma 1 comma 0 is another of my string. Okay, now how do we figure out that what respective or what at exactly place I have to maybe break my array, okay, or I have to divide my array over there? So that we'll just see in the logic, that what logic we are just putting onto this question. Okay, and the final result will be getting as 3,4012, because the reason is it will sort this array and this array. Now what I'll do, I'll just explain you over here that exactly what is being done. So let's say I'm having an array 4 comma 3 comma 2 comma 1 0. Okay, let's say this is my final array. Now when I just sort this out completely, so what it will help me to give, it will break that for me in 2 arrays. The first of my array will be 4 comma 3 and second of my array will be 2 comma 1 comma 0. Now as a final result, when I go, I would be getting 2 different arrays with differently sorted. Means 4 comma 3 will be sorted in the ascending order, so that would result me as 3 comma 4, and 2 comma 1 comma 0 will be sorted in the, that is in the descending order right now, right? Again it will become 0 comma 1 comma 2, so that will be sorted up into the again in ascending order. So that is how we will be moving ahead with this complete question, right? So that is how we exactly work with it. So this is something that we would have to do into this question, putting about that logic and all those parts, right? So that isn't sorted. So in that particular case, we will get the result as 1. Now why 1? Because I'll tell you, we have to find the portions which will not be sorted, right? If I do 4 comma 3 comma 2 comma 1 comma 0, or if I put 3 comma 4 comma 0 comma 1 comma 2, if you see the similarity, so 1 is at the same position. Okay, when I sort it in the ascending order, either I break this particular array and sort it in the other descending order, but 1 is something that would be at the similar place. I'll just show you. I'll just put it over here, 3 comma 4 comma 0 comma 1 comma 2, like this, right? So when you see all the numbers have actually changed their places. 4 is placed by 3, 3 is by 4, right? 2 is by 0, 0 by 2, but 1 is still the same in both of these places, right? Now that is where we say that 1 is my final result. So when you are having a small array, okay, ranging from 0 to n minus 1, you'll be splitting the array into some number of chunks. You'll be partitioning that particular array individually. There were two different chunks, you will sort them out, right? Then you will again concatenate, means again merge those particular chunks, and then see the result should be equal to the sorted array. Now whatever is the largest number of the chunks you can make to sort the array, you just have to return that particular as a result, right? So here 1 is the output, because you can just divide it into two different parts and just make that particular array sorted again. Okay. Now if I again check the second example, right, now my second example says we're having array is equal to 1 comma 0 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. Okay, my final output is 4 over here. How do we explain that particular one? So when we just check about the explanation, so you can split the chunks into different parts, like 1 comma 0, 2 comma 3 comma 4, right? And then maybe you can split it into more different parts, 1 comma 0, 2, 3, 4, right? Whatever is the highest number of chunks possible that you can split them, that will be final for you, right? So here we are having that we can split it into 4 different parts, and that is why you are having that result. I hope this thing is clear to you about that how, first of all, what is this question asking you to do, right? Talking about the constraints, here are the different constraints, like the n means the number should be equal to length of the array. N should not be, n should be between 1 and 10. Okay, my array should be between 0 to n, and all the elements of the array should be unique. Means you cannot have repetitive numbers into the solution or into the question. You cannot have those, right? That is not allowed. So these are a few things, first of all, about the complete question. So writing the solution of this question is pretty simple, that you can just start with making a function, okay, or maybe whenever you're just solving out any question for any of the coding problems or something, it's always recommended to use a class if you can make the class and then work with that same, right? So just make a class, make a function inside that, okay. We'll be putting up the loop and finding up the length of the array, okay, and just simply you'll be appending, means adding the things. After that, the thing will go that you will be merging, okay, overlapping up the intervals, and finally you'll be counting up the total number of intervals which we are having from the starting to the end of the array. As simple as that, okay. Putting up the conditions, adding those, and you will be done with the same, right? This is the whole process that you will be following for moving ahead with this complete question, okay. I just hope I am pretty clear with this to everyone, that what you have to do. Let's just quickly start writing up the solution also for this problem. And if you have understood the question, I just request you that you start writing up the solution for this too, okay. That will be pretty easy for you to start with and work with the same. Okay, the IDE which I am using, that is Google Colab. Okay, if you want to use PyCharm, Visual Studio Code, whatever, that's completely your choice. For me, I had used Google Colab. Okay. Okay, let's start writing up the solution over here. First of all, I'll be making up a class. That's a solution class. You can make any class of your own choice. Okay, that's completely your wish. Whatever class you want, you can make it. Inside a class, we're making a function. Okay, function name, you can just give it any. I would just give max chunks. Let's say this is my name of the function, right? Whenever you know that whenever you make a function inside a class, you have to pass in self into that. Okay, self is, you can say self is a kind of a parameter which is passed inside a function if you are making that function into a class. Okay. So in the first line I declared a class, in the second line I'll make a function, and I'll just write up over here like self, okay, comma. Next I'll just make a variable for storing my array. As you know, this question is of array, so in this initial stage you have to make a variable that will store array for you. So you can just write it as arr done, putting a colon, moving to the next line. Okay, now first thing that you have to making sure you're understanding over here is that whatever the array you are given, let's say when I talk about my question, so in my question this was my array 43210, that was my input, right? Now we know that 4 should be in the index 4, right? Accordingly, when you are sorting this out, not like this, when you will be sorting this into the into the ascending order, so 4 should be at the index 4, because 0 1 2 3 4, if you know or don't know, I'll just let you know that indexing always starts with the number which is 0, right? So 0 1 2 3 4, at fourth position we should have 4 as a number, right? So that whatever the chunk we will be finding it out, okay, that should contain 4, right? And it will start from 0 up till 4, which means between 0 to 4 you can take any chunk of my complete array. Hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to say, that between that you will be able to take any chunk of the array. Okay, now you will be finding the number of intervals that are non-overlapping. Okay, you will be finding the number of intervals that will be non-overlapping. So when I go back and start writing up my further solution, so what I'll do, I'll just make a variable, let's say interval. Okay, and right now I'll just keep it empty array. Okay, right now I'll be just keeping it as empty array. Moving ahead, I'll be putting up my for loop as I mentioned, because we have to access each and every element of my array, and I'll be appending that particular number into my array, right? So that is the reason we'll be using the for loop, and inside that append function to add the integers into my array. Okay, because here I have defined a blank array. Fine. Now my initial and next task will be adding the integers into this array. So for in, I will just write in range over here. Okay, range the length of ARR. Okay, that is length of ARR means I'm just trying to find the length of my array. Okay, length of my array I already have defined into my class. Okay, this might happen that you ask me a question that we are not defining array separately, but I'll let you know that once you have been defining the class, so inside that only you can define the respective variables also. Okay, there is some concepts known as public, private over here, public variables, private variables, but let's not discuss that right away, because if we will, the question will be disturbed a little bit and we'll move to the other parts. Maybe we can have a further session onto that afterwards. Okay, starting with the array. Now next, first of all, I'll just write interval dot append. Append is a function that will help me to add the integers of my array into my interval. Okay, so I'll just write I. Okay, just a second. Put the large brackets I comma. I will just write ARR of I. Right? So that simply is helping me to add this respective I into my array of I. Okay, I'll just help you to understand what exactly that line means. So when I just write I comma ARR of I, right? I put this all into a bracket, and before that, if I have used my append function, and let's say we have used intervals before, right? So interval, I am defining intervals is equal to, I just make a simple 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 like this over here, right? Now what will happen over here, this 1, okay, this 1 is at my 0th index. Fine. When I would run up my for loop for adding this 1, so what will happen, the 0th index will automatically go over here till this particular place, right? Now this is 0 comma array of 0, arr of 0. And whenever you write like this arr of 0, it means that it is asking me to print the 0th index value of my array. So automatically 1 will be printed up for me. As I have been using my for loop, it will again go, and now this is at my first index, right? It will again go to this 1, okay, and put it over here again at my first index. Now this will print me what? It will print me array of 1. Now what is at my first position? At my first position I have the number which is 2, right? I just put it up over here. So similarly, this process will be followed for all of the numbers which I have into my array. All the numbers which I have into my array, this process will be followed. So moving up to here, we'll be going, let's say I am having 5 at the end, right? So this will go till ARR of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that will be my value will be 5. Fine. So that is how this particular line is functioning. This is how this particular line is functioning. This is what it will give me the result also. Fine. So with the for loop, it is exceeding each and every single position and helping me to get the values over here. Okay. Now, moving next, what I would do, okay, starting with, I would be now declaring a few more variables for me, so that I can just start off with the end positions, the starting positions, the answer, maybe something like that, to store a different values. Okay. Now if you have learned about any problem into which you have been merging and overlapping up the intervals, so this complete question is now looking like that, right? Okay, starting with here, I would just take a variable, let's say that is equal to end, okay, and end I'll be putting -1. Now if you don't know, I would just tell you, whenever you do the indexing from left to right, that is in the positive, and whenever you do the indexing from right to left, that is in the negative. Okay, I'll just put up this particular thing again over here. Just let me change the color now. Just a minute. Yeah, done. So, okay, let's say I have an array is equal to, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now when I will move from left to right, so this indexing will be 0th index, it will be first index, second index, third index, and fourth index. Okay, clear, right? Now when I will moving from right towards the left, means from this side, this will be -1, -2, -3, -4, and then -5. Okay, so this is how the positive and negative indexing of the integers work. The similar is for the integers, the similar is for the numbers also. Okay, this is the process. Now, moving ahead with the solution, I just wrote n is equal to -1. Moving next, I would just take another variable, let's say ns, and I'll just define that 0. And now I'm finding it 0 because I would be further taking and putting it into my final result. Okay, so ns is something that will resulting with the final result. That is why I'm just putting it as 0 as of now. Okay, now goes that for. I'll be taking two different variables. Let's say I took j comma k. Okay, so my for loop starts for j comma k. Here I'll be going with my interval. Okay, my intervals, because my main aim is to find the intervals, means the small chunks, partition them, and then just find out the final result, right? So for j comma k in interval, I would be just simply putting a few conditions. So if my j, the value for my j is greater than the value of n, it means that my loop will go to -1, means whatever the values are greater than -1. Now why did I put -1 not 0? Because 0 is considered as an integer, right? And for us we have to take an integer over here. That is what is my requirement of the question for, right? So just simply going ahead, if j is greater than n, what I would just write, I'll just take this ans as a variable and just write plus equal to 1. Now this ns plus equal to 1, if you don't know, I'll just let you know, this is a short form for writing answer is equal to answer plus 1. Okay, this is what's the long form, and written up over here is the short form for it. Okay, so that's the thing. Now moving next, what I'll do, I'll just move out of my if condition and just put that n is equal to, now I'll be using what's the maximum number or what is the maximum value into my whole list, into my whole array, right? And why am I doing so? Because this is what my question asks me to do, right? So my question says me that whenever we are splitting up these numbers, right, we have to find the highest number of chunks possible, right? I have to return the largest number of chunks we can make to sort the array, right? That is how I am just partitioning this and putting up this max condition over here to find the same, right? So max is n comma, and now here I would just go with this scale loop, because first loop will help me to get the intervals and second one, first will go with this conditions and second is helping me to store the maximum value for the same, right? Moving down, I would just at the end return over here the final variable that will help me to get the result, that is return ans, and that is all done, right? This was a pretty simple thing that you have to do up over here. Simply I made a solution class, okay, I made the function name as max chunks, okay, self comma arr, okay. Further, we just simply defined the empty array that is into my interval variable. I started with my for loops, used my append function, started with end, right? Defined ans for j comma k interval if j greater than n, right? These are my conditions which we had just simply put down over here, and finally this particular result is getting over here, right? Now, if you have been using this onto your offline IDEs or somewhere, you might have got the result also till now. Okay, it's the Google Colab thing, so that's why it's not coming up over here, because for that further we need to define the object of the class and then call the functions that will only help me to result the final answer, right? But when it is running successfully, so that means yes, we have got the result over here. Fine. So that is how my this very first question will be solved, which is that we are having an integer of length L and we just have to sort it out, make it in partitions, and then return the final largest number of chunks that we can make to sort the array. Okay, that is how you can just do. Now what more things you can do over here, if this question is not asked to you, or maybe if this similar kind of question you are not asked in an interview, in any coding round, right? Now if these kinds of questions will be asked to you in the coding round, so automatically the input and output, all those things will be defined up for you, right? So you just have to work with that. If ever you do not get so you can just take the user input also and work onto that particular part. Fine, so that's the process how you exactly do up the things. So yeah, quickly everyone, are we clear with the very first question, that how this question has to be solved? What simple logics you can put it up over here? Now say, whenever you are reading this question, this might seem like a little difficult question, okay, and this is a medium level question also, which has been asked into different coding rounds of MNCs and MANG companies. But when you just try to understand what exactly it's all about, you give 5 minutes to this question easily. So it was just a pretty simple question, just a few loops, a few functions, a simple logic, and finally you are done with the result, right? So that is how you exactly work, and you just have to remember small things that you have into these questions, so that you are very well doing all of these respective parts, right? So yeah everyone, just quickly let me know, are we clear with the very first question? Like is it done for everyone, that how you can just do up this complete question? And if yes, just let me know, we will start with the second question over here. Okay, perfectly fine. Let's move with the next question over here. And the next question, we are having this of the linked list. Okay, first of all, see guys, whenever you're just solving out any question, right, you just have to make sure and check that what is the topic of the question, right? Means which data structures are being used. Data structures are, there are a lot of data structures when you go ahead about those, like linked list, tuples, stacks, queues, right? List, dictionaries, trees, lot of are there, right? So in the initial stage, whenever you're reading a question, first of all highlight what is the data structure being used into this question. So I would just highlight this as light blue color. So we are using the linked list as my data structure. Okay. Now my question says that you are given the head of a linked list containing unique integer values. Okay, and an integer array nums that is a subset of the linked list values. So simply what my question is asking me, that I am having a linked list. Head means the starting value. Okay. There are two terminologies in the linked list, head and tail. Okay, head is the starting, tail is the ending value. Okay. So we are giving the head of a linked list, okay, which is having a unique integer values, okay, and an integer array nums that is a subset of the linked list value. So we are having a subset of the array, okay, and we are having the linked list. Two things we are having, right? As a result, I have to return the number of connected components in the nums which where two values are connected if they appear consecutively in the linked list. Okay. I will be returning a number of connected components, means all the components which are connected to each other. I'll be returning that, okay, where two values are connected if they appear consecutively in the linked list. Consecutively means that one just after the other, okay. So I will return the total number of connected components in the nums where the two values are connected if they appear consecutively in my linked list. Okay, fine. So I just have a linked list. I have a subset of that particular linked list also, right? We are having the value, the head value to final result. What I have to find, I just have to find the number of connected components. What are the total number of connected components? My condition goes that if they appear to consecutively in my linked list, if they appear consecutively in the linked list, that is what's my condition over here. So starting with the first example, so we just given this diagram 0, 1, 2, 3 means that these are connected with each other. So head is my 0, 1, 2, 3 as I was mentioning the starting, and numbers, let's say I'm given which are 0, 1 and 3. Okay. Final output will be 2. Now why that the explanation 0 and 1 are connected? So 0, 1 and 3 are the two connected components. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I'll just show you what exactly it's trying to say. Let's move to the whiteboard quickly. And now we are having here 0, okay, that is connected to 1, 1 is connected to 2, and 2 is connected to 3. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, these all the values are connected to each other. Fine. Now what I would just do, my question says me that head I am given which is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the numbers which I am having which are 0, 1, 3. So I would just write over here my head is 0, 1, 2, 3. Fine, that is what's my head value. Moving next, we are having the nums which are 0, 1, 3. Fine. Now means into my final number from means nums is that subset which I was talking about, and head is my linked list which was in the question. So in the question we were given a linked list and we were giving the subset of that particular linked list, right? Now I just have to tell it in the final result that we just have to return a number of connected components. Connected component means whatever numbers are connected with each other, we just have to return those. Okay, checking in my nums, we are having 0 and 1 here together. And when I check this diagram and when the head also, we are having 0, 1. Similarly over here 0, 1. So means the first thing is that 0 and 1 are connected. So I will just write here 0, 1 first thing, right? Moving next, let me change the highlighter. Yeah, moving next into my nums, I do not have 2 over here, right? Into my nums means my subset of the linked list, I do not have 2, so I won't go with 2. Next I am having 3 over here, so 3 I am having into my real linked list also, into my subset also, and this is where my 3 goes. Okay, now this 3 will be written separately because 3 is alone over here. Okay, like 0, 1 and 1 are together and 3 is completely single over here. So my question was return the number of connected components, okay, that are appearing consecutively. So consecutively 2 of the components are appearing, which is 0 and 1. Okay, just 0 and 1 are appearing as because they both are connected with each other. So my final result of this question will be 0 comma 1. Okay, now in the same scenario, if into my head I would have been a value which is 4 also, right? And this nums, if it should also have 4, so in that case what would happen? 3 and 4 are now connected with each other, right? 3 and 4 are now connected with each other. So in that case, into my final output, 3 and 4 would also be there as a result, right? So I hope I'm pretty clear with whatever I'm just trying to say over here about these things over here, right? So 0, 1, 3, 4, but we don't have it as of now, so we just will go with 0, 1 and 3. Okay, now here in the second question, as I was just telling the same thing, head is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, nums are 0, 3, 1 and 4, right? Now explanation, 0 and 1 are connected, 3 and 4 are connected, absolutely we are having 0, 1 as connected, 3 and 4 are connected, so 2 is not still over here. So these are now the 2 connected components. Fine. So the approach to this, okay, constraints are also there. Number of nodes in the linked list is n. Okay, n should be 10 to the power 4 between that. Fine. The values node dot val is unique. Fine. All the values of numbers are unique, means we cannot have repetitive numbers into my linked list. Okay, we cannot have that. Fine. And fine, these are only the constraints. So now this question is pretty simple, but if you just try to read the final problem statement of this question, this doesn't look that easy. But when I just try to explain you, this question is simple. What you have to just do, you just have to take a linked list, right? You have to take a subset of that linked list, means that will be given by the user only, or you'll be having that again in the input cases. Just one thing you have to do, and that is you just have to take those numbers, fine, and simply resolve those numbers and just check what numbers are connected to each other. Whatever are the connected numbers, resolve them as the final output. That is just what you have to do over here. Fine. So let's start writing out this question over here, to the answer for this complete question, the solution, and let's see how it will go for the same, right? See, defining of the class whenever you're writing any these kind of questions, again that is your own choice. Rather, that depends also what kind of question you are solving. Okay, before you are just attempting any question, any coding round, any coding interview, try to make sure that you are clear with what these things all about, right? If you have to define a class, if you don't have to define a class, you just have to simply go ahead and write the functions, right? Or what happens in most of the cases, you already get the function name and class names already defined up, right? So rather don't think about that particular part also, right? So class will be named as solution class. I'll be making a function def num components. Okay, now in the bracket, as I told you, okay, if you have been using any offline IDE, so this self would all automatically pass for you. Okay, if you would use any offline ID, self will automatically pass. Rather, I'm using online, so self is not getting passed here. But as I told, whenever you are making a class, you just have to make sure that you're using up the function name also, right? Sorry, self inside the function. Okay, so we had a variable that was head. Okay, in my question only the head was already there, right? And moving next, we just have to take the nums as the variable. Pretty fine, right? Okay, moving next, what I'll just do, I'll just take a variable which is pointer, and that will be equal to head. Okay, so pointer is a variable and head is simply the value which I am storing into my pointer. Fine. Apart from that, I'll just take a variable as counter as 0, right? So pointer is actually okay. Okay, I'll just let you know this few minutes afterwards what I'm trying to say for the pointer. Moving with the okay, now counter we are already done with. Fine. So pointer is something that is just helping you to store up the boolean value. Whatever is my previous node. Okay, whatever is my previous node, it is just simply helping me to add this from here. Okay, so it's trying to check and let me know that is a value stored in the previous node or not, whatever the value I have into my list. Okay, it is just helping me to find out that whether that value has been stored into the previous node or not. Fine, that's it. Moving next, I'll be applying with my while condition. So while my condition will go pointer is not equal to none, means that whatever we are just trying to check it for the condition where all the values which I have into my list, those are stored in the end of this respective list, I would say. Okay, or the linked list, whatever you're just saying, right? um okay, pretty fine. I'll just zoom in the screen just a minute. Hopefully that's visible, right? So my condition for the pointer goes that while pointer is not equal to none. Again, I was trying to explain till the time the node is not empty. Okay, till the time the node is not empty, I would just try checking if the value of the pointer exists in my nums or not. So I would just write if pointer dot val in nums. I hope this is the okay. Just let me check this spelling. If pointer dot val in nums, right? So I'm just trying to check that till the time my nodes are not empty. First condition I'll check that is that value of my pointer in the nums or not. Nums is my variable into which I'm storing my linked list. Fine. So moving aside that, I'll just check with the condition if not PREV. PREV is one of my functions which I'm just making, and what I'll do, I'll just define this also here. Okay, let's define is that equal to none as of now. Okay, so previous will be none for me. If not previous means if it is not none means if it is not empty. If not empty, that's it. Okay, if my node is not empty, again going inside that, I will just row counter plus equal to 1. What it is helping me to do, it is just helping me to count the respective nodes. Okay, it is helping me to take my counter, take my pointer to the next counter. Okay, increase up the value for the counter, so that if we are having up the value which is not existing, right, in that case this prev will become to false. Okay, that's what we are trying to do over here. Now moving next, I would just set it as previous as true for the next node. Fine. So moving out over here, I would just use prev is equal to true. Fine. I'm just setting this value as true as of now. Means that true, it means it is not empty. Okay. Now here will come my else condition. Now inside my else, I would just simply try to put the value for prev as false. Okay, here we'll go with my pointer is equal to pointer dot next. Okay, I'm sorry. So prev is equal to false and pointer is equal to pointer dot next, right? As simple as that, we already defined had pointer. So pointer was referring to my head value. Head I already had it in my function, right? We were having two values. One was my head value, another was my subset of my linked list. So let's say head is my linked list and nums is the subset of my linked list. We need to have two things, right? So pointer dot next. And simply I would just come out of my while condition and finally return of the final result here as counter. So counter is simply that particular variable which is helping me to count the values. It means that it's helping me to count each and every single node which is getting filled up, right? And second thing, it is helping me to just simply go ahead and find that simultaneous value, because in my question we have to find the consecutive values in my linked list, right? So similarly, it is just simply helping me to find that consecutive value, and that is it what it has been doing up over here, right? Returning the counter is running this particular program. Fine, right? So yeah, this is how you will be going ahead with the second solution. Second was the complete concept of your linked list, right? So what are the concepts? The head, the counter, the conditions, right? The loop, whatever we have been learning with, all of these things have been used within our linked list. Okay, so I will just tell you one thing, that many times the questions is your basic question only, right? Just don't ever hesitate with the stacks, that oh, I have to define a stack, I have to work with a stack, or I have to work with the queues and define the queues. No, nothing like that, right? The question is always there. Okay, different data structures will be defined, but the concept is gonna remain exactly the same only, right? So hopefully I'm clear with whatever I have just told you over here regarding all the things about this complete question. And yeah, this was also the part which was included. So everyone, just let me know in the chat box if we have any questions, any doubts regarding this complete question, or shall we move to the next? Okay, so maybe we can start with the next question. That is my third question of this complete series. Now, if you have usually seen up most of the coding questions which have already been asked into your MNCs like Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Flipkart, all those. So they usually use up the data structures, mostly like your stacks, your queues, your linked list, your arrays and strings. The questions are based on all of these five things most of the times, and the question is always of a basic concept, but rather you just have to make sure that you are using that with a proper data structure, because all the data structures have their different set of I would say the words that you use for all of those, right? You use head over here for the linked list, right? If you know about the push and the pop, which you use for the stacks, fine. So similarly, for all the type of data structures, you're having different functions and different I would say the terms to be called for, right? So just you have to making sure that you are dealing with all those, and your question would be pretty simple for you to solve this out. Now this is a little hard level question, because this question is mostly onto the classes and objects part only. Okay, so let's quickly solve out this question. Okay, so we are having an array of distinct integer candidates and a target integer. Okay, you have to return a list of all unique combinations of candidates. Okay, where the chosen number sums to target. Okay, you may return the combinations in any order. Okay, so let's see, the question says that you are having first of all array. Okay, or the integers will be distinct, means different, no repetitive or no repetitive numbers allowed in the array. Okay, and then you are having up an integer which is known as a target value. Two things, array and a target, right? Now you just have to return all the list of all the unique combinations of the candidates where the chosen number sums to target. Means the combinations which you will be making of the respective integers, those should sum to the target. Okay, I'll just get you a quick write up that what exactly this question is trying to. Let's change the color quickly. So we are having an array, let's say here, of distinct numbers. Okay, distinct one. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's take this similar example only which is given over here. Okay, So let's say input we are having two, one is a candidate, second is a target. So 2, 3, 6, 7, let's say we are having, so I will just remove this. One thing, array, fine. Then my target value is 7. So I will just write t is equal to 7. Now what do I have to do? Simply I have to now find the answer. Now that answer should be that the sum of these numbers should result you 7, right? Means when you add these values, right, it should get you result as 7. That's it what you're trying to do. So 2 and 3 are candidates here. This 2 and 3 are the candidates, right? And 2 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to 7. That is my target value. So which means you can use 2 multiple times. Fine, that's the first thing. Next, 7 is the candidate. Means 7 is my candidate and 7 is my target value also. So which means you can use these two combinations over here. Now I would explain you. See guys, what I'm trying to say is array 2, 3, 6, 7 over here. And the target is also 7. Fine. I have to find that set of array which will result me the final sum as 7. So if I add 2 plus 3 plus 6 plus 7, no way we'll be getting 7. If I add 2, 3, 6, now 6, 3, no, 7, 3, no, 7, 2, no. Right, so if I just take only these numbers, so none of them are resulting with the target value. What can happen? Here I can reuse a value. Reuse a value means I can again write that particular value to get in me the final target sum. So if I just make an array of 2, 2, 3 means if I just add 2 over here and we do have this 3, if I get the sum of this, what it will be? It would get me 7, right? But if I just try to go through only this complete array which is given for me over here, there's no way out that I can get the final result as 7. Fine. So that's why the reason I have to add a additional value into this whole array of mine. Find the first thing. Second, if I check, so 7 is a lone integer. If I just put 7, so that is also equal to my target value. So there are two combinations which will result me the final value as 7. And the first combination is 2, 2, 3. Second combination is 7. Fine. So as a result, I have in the final as 2 combination as my result. That's it what you have to do over here. And that is exactly what this example input output explanation tells you also to do. Moving to the example number 2. Similarly, you are having 2, 3, 5 and target is 8, right? So similarly, you can just have multiple values over here in the tag. In that, I will just 2, 3, 5, 8. Okay, let's move with that. Okay, so when we are having 2, 3, 5. Okay, next thing we are having the target value as 8. Now, how can I do that first of all? 2 plus 3 not resulting me 5 plus 5 10. No, not possible. So 1 we can go with 5, 3. That is getting me one value to get added, right? Now if I add 3 2 times, yeah, we can just make it one more pair, 3, 3, 2. This will get me 3 plus 3 6 and 6 plus 2, that is 8, right? It will get me 8 as a result. Moving next to the third part, what more I can do? If I add 4 times 2, it will also get me 8. So let's say 2, 2, 2, 2, right? This is also resulting me 8. Now, apart from this, there is no such more combination that can help me to get the target value. I don't think so there is as such any of the other target value which we'll be getting from here. So simply the final result, my final output will be these 3 different combinations that are helping me to get the result. Now let's check into our document 5332. This, right? Absolutely correct. So this is how you exactly work with the things. Example number 3, that candidates are 2, target is 1. So output, you don't have any output over here because you cannot make a condition. Okay, now here by just seeing this input, you just should think about that one condition should be put, that the candidate value, if the value for the candidate is greater than the target value, okay, in that case the output should be empty, because just with one single large value you cannot make a small value, right? So that's how you have to do. So this is the whole question, that is it all about. Okay, again my condition says that yeah, I can use this particular candidate as unlimited number of times. Two combinations are unique if the frequency of at least one of the chosen number is different. Absolutely. The test case generates the number of unique combinations that sum up to a target is less than 150 combinations of the given input, right? So max to max combinations which can be made for this particular question is 150 combinations, means 150 different combinations. Okay. Fine. So hi Biral, hope you're doing good. So this is what exactly you can just do up over here in this respective term, okay? And the constraints are that the candidate length should be less than 30. Okay, candidates, the value should be less than 40, element should be distinct, and target should be between 1 to 40. Fine, so means that we have to revolve all around between 1 to 40 as an integer value. Starting from 1 till 40, that's it. Fine. So let's start writing this solution, because this is quite a very interesting coding question. You have a candidate, you have a target, you have to meet that particular target, and you can use any candidate n number of times also. Right? That's what's the small summary of this question. So let's make a class first of all. Class name, we can put that as solution class. And if you want to get pass object inside that, whenever the classes are made, you have to make the objects with that particular class also. Okay. Now start making a function. Now here we'll be making a init function, because we will be defining a few parameters into this. Inside that self will be passed. As said that whenever you are making a function in the, I would say, class, the self should automatically be passed into that, right? Another way how you do this particular thing is that you define the self, and with the help of self you initialize up the functions. Okay, one method was this, that I told you all, that inside the function name only you define, but this condition goes when you are using the function name. When I am not using the function name, just I am using it, the init function, so inside that you have to simply pass the self over here. Okay, you just have to work with self dot, and then you just will be working with the variable of yours. Okay, self dot, you'll be making another variable which is equal to path. Fine, like that, right? Self dot res, self dot path, that's it. Both as empty right now because res is my array. Fine, and this is the respective target. Fine. Okay, now I will just make my next final function for this whole question. So function name you can just give as combine sum. Okay, inside that I will just pass all the parameters, whatever I want. Total I would take. Next I was having candidates, which was given in my question already. Then we have to take the target, and I would define one another variable on my own, which can be the start index. So because I told you that we'll be starting from the first position, right, and moving ahead with the furthermore, so in that case I have to start with the start index. So we can just take a variable start index like this. Okay, now moving next, what we'll do, I can just simply go ahead. Now if you just want, you can define the type of the respective variables also. Okay, if you don't want, that's pretty fine, no issues in that particular case. Okay, moving next. Okay, I just put in my condition that if total is equal to target. Okay, in case when the total is equal to the target. Now when I have defined self above, so I'll be using self dot res. Okay, self dot res, and I will just use my append function and add the value into this, put the brackets like this. Now what I did do over here, one second. Okay, if you don't know, this is something which is known as slicing technique. Now slicing technique you can do with either the strings or you can do with the integers also. So when if I just quickly tell you about the slicing technique, so just a minute, let me add a color here. Right, so when I just talk about the slicing technique, so you would just start with, okay, there's a respective criteria, a syntax that we follow. First of all, you would just put the start index and put a colon, and then you put the end index. Okay, start index you would just put an n in. End index is always n minus 1. Means let's say I define an array that is 2, 4, 6 and 8. One second. 2, 4, 6 and 8, right? So here what I'll do, I'll just define, let's say my starting value is 1 and my ending value is 3. Okay. Now, you know that always the indexing starts from 0, right away. I just told you a few minutes before, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3. So when I just write 1, 3, so at my first position, which value I have? I have the value which is 4. So putting 4 over here. Again a colon. At my ending index, what value I have? 3. Now 3 is my ending index. Now, I do not have to write the value for 3. I would write the value which is at 2. Because the ending index always follows the method which is n minus 1. 3 minus 1, that is 2. Fine. So this initially becomes 1 colon 2. At my second index, I have the value which is 6. So 4 comma 6 is my answer for this respective array, and this is the slicing for that. Okay. So whenever you just do the slicing, okay, I'm sorry. Whenever you just do the slicing for any of the arrays or anything like that, this is done in the integers and respective your numbers or integers and strings, both of those. But initially when you do it for the integers or the strings, this last ending index is n minus 1. Now in this solution, when I just put this brackets and write the colon, what does this means? This means I am not defining any starting and ending value. So what it will do, it will automatically take the starting value of my array which is 2. It will automatically take the ending value of my array which is 8. So if I just simply put this colon empty and just do not write start and end, so my final result will be 2 comma, means it will take the whole array for me, right? So my final output will be 2 comma 4 comma 6 comma. Fine. So this is what's the slicing technique, and I'm just using it over here. Reason why I am using, because I need to check for the whole array. Fine. I need to find this. I need to append the values. I need to add the values for the whole array. That is why I am using this slicing technique over here. Fine. Okay. Moving next, I will simply return, and that's it. This is the condition I am applying. That I am applying over here, which is total is equal to target. Fine. When my target value is equal to my total value, in that particular case, I will just go ahead and apply with this complete condition. Fine. Total and target are two variables we already have taken up over here. So when you check the function combine sum, inside that you are having total, and inside that only you are having the target also. So that's the thing. Moving next. Okay, moving next over here, I would start applying with my conditions. Moving out of my if condition, and here goes. I'll be applying my one of the loops for I in range. Range is a function which helps me to go from one particular position to another particular position. Okay, so I would be putting my starting range as start index value, and my ending range will be length of the candidates. Candidates is this particular one if you check the question. So candidates is my original array from which I have to find the summation of my target. Fine. So here we have the start index, then we just have the length of the candidates, right? So that is the whole idea regarding the same. Putting a colon, getting down, I'll just go if candidates, candidates of I plus total is greater than the target. Okay, if candidates of I plus total is greater than the target value, so there I would just break, because in the starting only I told you that the target value should always be like this only, right? Means candidates are the value for the candidates, and the total of my total, if it is greater than the target, so we'll be just breaking this condition from here. Fine. Now after break, what I would do, after break what it will do, it will just come completely out of my whole loop, and it will just simply return me the final answer. So what I'll do, I'll just write over here in that case candidates dot sorting. I'll just try to sort the values also. Okay, candidates, okay, sorry, sort function, and we'll be using here backtracking. Okay, so backtracking, I'll be putting a few initial values. Backtracking means starting with 0, then I'll be putting the candidates. Okay, then we'll check with my target value and ending up with the 0. So if this condition is true, it will be breaked up from here, it will come at this particular place. Okay, but if this is not the condition, in that case what it will happen, so total plus equal to will be my candidates of I. It means that I'm just trying to add the candidates, I'm just trying to sum up all the values which we have up into the candidates. We're just trying to do that. Okay, moving next, I'll just write self dot path dot, I'll just append up the value, self dot path dot append. In the bracket we'll be doing with the candidates, and in the bracket that is candidates of I. Okay, so this is the whole condition, self dot path dot append, and in the bracket candidates of I. Okay, so it is helping me to add each and every single, checking each and every single position, that whether these sum up and result me and get me the final answer or not. Okay, next I would again be using the backtracking. Now why we are using backtracking again? Because the reason is that I am again and again repetitively checking my whole candidates list. Okay, whenever you just have to do that particular part repetitively, you just have to check all the complete over here. That is where we are just simply going and helping. This is where it will simply go and help us out, right? So backtracking, in the bracket I'm just going to put total, comma, we'll be having candidates, comma, here was my target and my value which is I. So backtracking will help me just check in for all the candidates, right, sum up and match them for the target with the loop of I, with this for loop for me over here. That's it, right? Now, okay, here I added a condition if I have to go one step forward. Okay, now what if I have to go one step back? So for similarly, I would just write over here the value total minus equal to candidate. Okay, I am using candidates all over, right? I just candidates, fine. So total minus is equal to candidates. In the bracket, we'll be just putting up over here as I, right? That's all done. After this, I'll just simply put the self and store the value, path dot pop. Pop is to remove, push is to add. Okay, if you know, as I was mentioning the same thing, that in the stats and all those, we have two functions, push and pop. So push is for inserting, pop is for removing. Fine. So we're just removing that particular value from from this respective place. And coming out over here, I would just simply try to return self dot rest, because that is what is storing my final result. Okay, that is what is storing my final result over here. So simply into this whole solution, I just made a solution class, okay, declared an object inside it. Then we just simply made a init function inside that. Fine. We have this two variables res and path over here. Moving next, I made a function combine sum, define all my variables, because you know that this is known as the initialization of the values into a function, right? Checking my very first condition if the value for the total is equal to the target. My very first condition. Okay, so inside that, if that's the condition, so I would just try to append that value and make that as a final result. Right, because if total and target are equal, so I don't think so we just need to have any sort of conditions or anything over there. Fine. Now, if that's not the case, second we'll go for my for loop. Fine. So for I in the range. So for I in range, we have the start index and we are having the length of the candidates. Candidates is my respective variable into which my original array will be stored. Now, if the candidates of I plus total is greater than the target value, okay, if the candidates I plus total, if that is greater than the target, so I just have to simply break from here. Okay, moving next, we'll just write total plus equal to candidates of I, right? Moving with the adding of the numbers, adding the values. This exactly means total is equal to total plus candidates of I. I hope if you have this saw this particular, if you have joined me in the starting, so I guess somewhere, yeah, here I just have explained you this particular part, right? Fine. Then again appending the values into my candidates of I, because that is simply what is helping to get the final result. Fine. And backtracking is simply helping me to add in all of these particulars into the list. So total, candidates, target and I. Moving forward, we had put this condition for total plus. Similarly, I'll just do it for total minus also. So this is total minus is equal to candidates of I. Find self dot path and dot pop. Pop means to remove these values, right? And here we would just simply sort. So candidates dot sort. I'll be sorting this automatically in the ascending order. When you do not define that in which manner you have to sort, sort function automatically does it in the ascending order. Fine. And here's my backtracking, where I just simply initialize up my values, and at the end we just simply don't use self dot rest. That is how you work with this whole question. That is how you just simply go ahead and solve this complete one. Fine. Now, my question again, I'll read it. My question was that we are having an array of distinct integer candidates and a target integer target. Fine. You have to return a list of all unique combination of candidates where the chosen number sums to target. Fine. You may return the combinations in any order. Okay. Now, the same number may be chosen from candidates as unlimited number of times. So, two combinations are unique if the frequency of at least one of the chosen number is different. The test cases generated such are numbers, so test cases, so we have seen for 150 combinations max to max. So, guys, this is exactly how you will be writing the solution for this question. This was a question that used a little bit of your backtracking, right? Little bit of your linked list, find your a function like pop function, push and pop functions. You defined up an array and just simply worked for the same. So that is how you usually go ahead and solve these kinds of questions. If this question has been means this or any similar kind of a question has been asked to you in the any coding round of respective any company, top MNCs or whatsoever, so this would be the approach. Questions might differ, right? I am just trying to help you out where that questions might differ, but the approach will kind of be same, kind of, not exactly the same also, right? Here now into this we were given that you have to find a target, right? Now opposite of this question could be that you are having a distinct integer candidates and a target integer target. Return a list of all the unique combination of candidates where the chosen number does not sums to the target, right? Now when it asks you to does not sums to the target, so there you will be now changing up the conditions, and then just you will changing up these conditions and working on to that. Fine. So opposite of the things can be asked to you, but yeah, again the approach, the things would remain the same as it is over here right now. Fine. So this is how you approach up the next question. This is how you can solve up the next question over here. Fine. So if you have any questions for me to ask them as of now, you can just please let me know. Maybe we can proceed in further then. Okay. Let's move to the question number 4, which we are having for today. So, my question says that we are given an array nums with n objects colored red, okay, white or blue. Okay, we are having 3 color objects, red, white and blue. Sort them in place so that objects of the same color are adjacent. Okay, adjacent, fine. With the colors in the order red, white and blue. So, now my question says that we are given 3 things over here. One is we're having red color object, white color object and blue color object. First thing I have to do is I have to sort them in their place so that the similar color objects are adjacent to each other. And second thing, the order of my color should be red, white and blue. Okay. So we'll be using an integer to represent the color red, white and blue. Fine. We will also without using the library sort functions. Fine. Now see here. Um, if you have read this question over here, so the very first approach which you might have got into your mind, that would have been that you would be sorting up the numbers whatever are present in the array, and you would just simply go ahead and do the same, right? As simple as that. But now my condition applies. I cannot use this uh, libraries sort function over here. Now that is what is my condition. Fine. Okay, let's first we'll try to understand what my question says. Right, let's take a new color. Let's take red. Okay, so what I would just do, yeah, we had an, let's say I just define an array, and we had a condition of 0, 1, 2. 3 things we have into this array, right? And let's say I am having other more. And let's say I'm having another list which is like 2, 1, commas. Okay, I'm sorry, this might not be visible. 2, 1, 0, 2, 1. Fine. Now, this I have to sort this particular array, this 21021, into the format of 012. The adjacent means 1 1 should be together, 2 2 should be together, like that. So my final answer which I have to give into this whole array should be 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, like this. This should be my final answer. Okay. Now we would be just writing up the solution for this. Now, if you would have just thought of this, so you just use a sort function, it will automatically sort the whole array for you, right? But we don't have to do it in that particular manner. Now, this is where exactly, now this question is all about the logic. Okay, this question is just completely asking you to put different logics, and then just work with this particular one over here. Okay, this is what this question is requiring you to do. Okay, let's see how we would be able to do. Rather, just let's take the example first. Similarly, our examples are pretty fine. Fine. Constraints are n is equal to nums dot length 1 less than equal to n less than equal to, okay, the n value should be 1 to 30, so it's 300, and the value in my num should be 0, 1, 2. Fine. Okay, fine. Let's start writing up the solution. Before that, let's brainstorm that how will you be able to do this complete question. So yeah, we can make a class, go with a few functions, right? And just try checking in if my respective 0, 1 and 2, if these values, if are they present in the left side or right side, to find that particular place and just combine them up. This can be a approach for the solution. Let's see how to write that. So class, I'll make a solution class. We'll be just going with a function div sort color. Okay. Self will be passed as self comma, and we would take a variable nums. So as to store my 0, 1 and 2, these three values. Fine. Okay, moving next, I would just initialize a few variables. Left, I would just give them as 0. Right, let's say, okay, left starting with 0. Okay, right, we can just give it to the length of my nums, right? So length of nums minus 1 means it will just go to the last position of my whole nums variable. Fine, pretty cool. And final answer, I would just right now put them as 0. Then further maybe we can exceed it accordingly, or the wish, right? Okay, moving with the while condition. So while ANS answer of us is less than equal to the right, while answer is less than equal to right, now the condition goes that we just not have to put any space between the less than and equal to sign, right? So while answer is less than equal to the right, I would just go with my condition that if nums answer, ANS is my respective variable, that is equal to 0. If that is first of all equal to 2, we'll just go 2, 0 and 1 like that, fine. If that is equal to 2, so into my nums I'll store my ANS, comma, okay, into my nums I would, it would be inside the bracket only. My nums variable will store my right value also, is equal to, here I would just go nums with the right, comma, I would just go with nums with the ANS. Fine. Now, if you know, so you might have got an idea what I'm just trying to do. I'm just trying to swap the values. Right? I'm just trying to swap the values. Means the position of this ANS would go to the right and the value for the right will go to the ANS. That's it, what I'm trying to do. Swapping of the numbers. Okay? That is array or array I, comma array j is equal to array j, comma array I. That is swapping of the values over here. If you don't know about swapping the values, so okay, not like this, but 1 comma 2 is equal to 2 comma 1. So 1 is, okay, sorry, at the place of 1 we are having 2, and at the place of 2 we are having 1, like this. Okay, fine. So simply I'm just trying to write this particular part, okay, do the swap of my values and shift that to the right. So right less than equal to 1 means the position at the right, I'm so sorry, right minus is equal to 1 means shift that to one value less than the right side. Okay, moving next, I would just do with the elif. Elif of nums is into the bracket we are having again ANS, that is equal to 0. Putting the condition, so elif of nums ANS is equal to 0 bracket, I just put nums over here in the bracket, again that variable ANS, that is nums of 0, comma, here I'll go with the nums of left. Above it was right, here it's the left. Now that will be equal to the nums of left, comma, nums of 0. Means 0, that's ANS, that's the value we are having. I'm sorry, is equal to 0. Fine. Now after this we will move with the next class condition, that is else. I'm sorry, first of all I would be incrementing over here also as I did for the right. I'll be now, as in the right we did the subtraction, here in the left I would just do the addition, means adding to, moving to the next position. Fine. So left plus equal to 1. In that case answer will also be equal to 1. Means yes, we got some value and we are moving towards the more left of that, right? And now why right minus 1? Because see, the reason is from right would be the last value which you have in. The right value would be the last value of the whole list of yours. So now there's no such point of going from last value to the other empty spaces of my list, right? So it's better coming back from there. That is the reason we are using minus in the right and plus in the left. Okay. Next is we go with the else, and here I would just do ns is plus equal to 1, means I'm just simply adding 1 into that. That's it. Okay. That's it. What I'm just trying to do. Now, this logic which I have been applying up over here for this whole question, this is how you exactly work with it. Fine. Now, the thing over here goes that you made a solution class. Fine. You made a different function, the sort color. Inside that, defined up the self, defined up the nums. Put the left, right, and ns as zeros, both all the three of these, right? Now, while the value is less than equal to the right, well, this 0 is less than equal to this respective one, right? You just have to simply go ahead and try to swap the values, because 0, 1, 2, only these three will be the values that will be into your list. So it is just about swapping up those values, nothing more than that, right? So that is how you can approach of this complete question over here. So my question was this, that I had array nums with the n objects which was colored red, white and blue. Red, white and blue were given three colors, 0, 1 and 2. Fine, I have to sort them in the same color, and the order of the color should be 0, 1 and 2 only. Fine. Just simply solved out this problem without the sort function. So put the condition, swap the values, and it's all done for you. Right? So I just hope I'm pretty clear with the same question, that how to approach and how to write a solution for this whole question for you over here. Right? So that's the complete method, that's the way. So I hope these things are pretty clear to everyone about how to use these functions, how to simply go ahead and work onto these concepts, and how to solve these questions without panicking when it is coming into any of your coding interviews or the coding rounds. Right? So slowly and gradually we'll be moving ahead with the other questions, but not today. Fine, I'll be coming up with the further live streams, so stay tuned on the channel, and thanks a lot for joining everyone. Bye and take care.